Welcome. My name is Leah Swanberg. I am a mother of 5. I also have been a surrogate twice and found the experience to be so deeply meaningful and super lonely, actually. It was before Facebook was really a thing. And so it left me disconnected. There weren't surrogates in my community. And so I was often on my own. And so with that being said, I started CFC. Subsequently started Sacred Surrogacy in order to provide or create a surrogate-based, surrogate-led program. And the difference between a surrogate-led program and a traditional program is that in a traditional program, which is very common in the US, the intended parents pick the surrogate. The intended parents set the rules. The intended parents create the rules of engagement for the process. In Canada, and specifically with my program, it is led by you, the surrogate. It is led by you to ensure that you are first and foremost. And we teach our intended parents how taking care of you, their surrogate, means taking care of their baby and how important that is and how vital it is to knowing that their baby is well because they've taken care of you. And so we built this program on that premise. So welcome to CFC, welcome to Sacred Surrogacy, and I would love to get started. Often we start these webinars with who needs a surrogate. And while that's really important, same-sex couples, single people, those who have struggled with explained infertility and unexplained infertility, women who are born with MRKH, which is the absence of the uterus, people who have had heart conditions or diabetes or mental health issues in which they can't abstain from their medication to be pregnant. All of that is important. And more important is what draws people to be a surrogate. For myself, it took me a long time. I offered to be a surrogate for my neighbor. She decided not to move forward. I contacted an agency. I became a surrogate, thinking at that time that surrogacy was about giving people a child. Because what I didn't know is that 20% of the time IVF doesn't work, and that I might not be able to give these people who have all of their hopes on my shoulders a child. And thinking back, I wish I knew differently, because the amount of pressure I put on myself for success was terrifying. So what is important is this, that the criteria is simple. Have you had a child? Have you had a fairly uncomplicated pregnancy? Do you enjoy pregnancy? It doesn't really even matter. Like, if you do, that's great. If you hate it, that's okay too. We're indifferent about pregnancy. I say pregnancy indifferent, and who surrogates are is what's important. What's important is you will be surrounded by a community of people who are going to cheer for you like you have never been cheered for before. We have a Facebook group with almost 700 people in it that we moderate because we love to hang out in that space, but we don't have to, because there isn't cattiness, there isn't pettiness, there isn't, why are you posting this on Facebook? You should go to the doctor. All the mom group stuff that just doesn't exist in our group. And we look at who surrogates are, and what we see is represented in the advertising for surrogates. This beautiful goddess with this blonde hair, and she's ready to be pregnant, or she is pregnant. I never identified as her. I identified as the dirty sweatpants, hoping my shirt wasn't inside out, picking up my kid at school, wishing I fit in. Wishing I would fit in with like the Lululemon moms, wishing I would fit in with the like fancy business suit and briefcase moms, because it was 20 years ago and briefcases were a thing. And it didn't matter, because like I was a great mom to my kids, or, I thought I was. I, still think maybe I'm okay at it. And so surrogacy is for everyone. It's for every person who has had a full-term child, who is interested in sharing the greatest adventure, I can tell you this will be the greatest adventure you take. Interested in helping people, and interested in recreating either a birth experience that they had that maybe wasn't favorable. For me, I was a surrogate because I wanted to give a child a life that I didn't have with my parents. I wanted to watch a mother become a mother beautifully and presently. Presently is a word. And so the people that I chose would be different than the person that the surrogate beside me would choose. Because for them, it's, I have a brother who's gay and he's not going to have a kid yet, but I really want to help a gay couple because I'm an ally and my kid is gay, or my kid, is non-binary, or, whatever, right? Like, and the other surrogate on my other side, her sister has breast cancer and she wants to help someone, and she hasn't had kids yet. She wants to help a breast cancer survivor because that feels like home to her. Surrogacy should feel like home to you. Surrogacy is what we call a calling. Like, not everyone understands it. They go, "You are crazy? You're what? What now?" Yeah. When it calls your heart like that, and that when people say that it's crazy, you just nod. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm doing it. And I didn't need to live in a fancy house, to have a university degree, to have on the Lululemons, to have the briefcase. None of that mattered. Matters is I could show up in this beautiful experience for me. I mean, listen, I'd love everyone to have the reason, and you might not. You might just be like, I want to do it. I like pregnancy. I want to have a kid for someone. And that's reason enough. And if the reason extends beyond that, cool. We want to hear about that too. We want to know you. We want to become your people. We want to become your community and your network. And, the sisterhood, if that's something that you identify with, having a sisterhood. I have a half sister, and I have 700 or more surrogates who I could call on at any time, because I have this unique shared experience with them that is breathtaking, literally. And whether that's breathtaking, amazing, and awe, or breathtaking, my surrogate sister, my friend has had a loss, and I get the opportunity to show up for her. And that's big, because in my life, showing up for people has looked very different. And choosing this family or these people as my family, other surrogates, being able to show up for them has been beautiful. It's been really a meaningful experience in my life. Okay. So you're interested and you want to get started. How do you do that? You connect with one of our intake team, and they take you through the process. They talk about things that would disqualify you if you aren't able to move forward, like not having a child, or potential medication use. There really aren't a lot of disqualifiers, but there are a lot of qualifiers. So we want to get to know you. We have you fill out an application form that we send to the fertility clinic to make sure on paper they're like, oh yeah, it looks like this person had some pregnancies and healthy pregnancies and doesn't smoke, doesn't use illicit street drugs. We used to say doesn't use cannabis, and the world has shifted. And now we know, as long as participants in our program are willing to not use cannabis during pregnancy, we are happy to welcome them into our program. So you'll fill out the application form, and then we'll connect you. We'll connect you with the most important people in this journey. And if you're thinking I'm talking about intended parents, think again. That's next. It's that community. It's that circle of support. It's other surrogates in your community. We have surrogates across Canada, in your community and online. We want to make sure you know people. We want to make sure that you have the connection with other surrogates that is so vital and so beautiful as you move through this process. So we're going to enter you into our online community. And if you live near one of us, we're going to go for coffee and hang out. We've got a huge staff across Canada, and we'd love to meet you. The next piece is picking intended parents. Who do you want to help? Do you want to help a gay couple? Do you want to help a single person? Doesn't matter who you help. We have biographies and videos of intended parents across Canada and the globe who are looking for your help. And so we begin to send them to you. and we begin that conversation. We begin to get curious about you. We watch you get curious about us and how we can show up for you as a surrogate agency, how your intended parents can show up for you. And as you do that, you will learn what you like and don't. And we honor that. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what you're going to like. We don't know what's going to be the right fit until you tell us it's the right fit. Then when you say that's the right fit, we introduce you. We introduce you by email, and one of our coordinators, who will become your coordinator, will introduce you to these people by Skype to have a face-to-face conversation in this technology COVID world. Although COVID's, I'm not going to say it, but we all know what I'm thinking. But get to know each other there and begin to communicate. We then send you to the intended parents fertility clinic for medical screening. And that clinic could be in Toronto, it could be in San Diego, it could be in Vancouver. So as you're selecting intended parents, you'll decide on the parents and the place. So the parents who you're going to help and the place where their clinic's located. You may love John and Jenny, but they're working with a clinic in San Diego and you don't have a passport and you don't want to get one. And so we move on and we go, okay, someone who has the same values, beliefs, is similar to John and Jenny, and has a clinic in Canada or somewhere closer to you. You'll have a lawyer to represent you throughout the entire process. So you'll have a legal contract with the intended parents that will outline some key pieces. Those key pieces are the reimbursement, the money that you will receive for being a surrogate. In Canada, surrogates are not paid. They are reimbursed for their expenses. And those expenses can look like mileage, groceries, gym membership, communication, cell phone, internet, and the list goes on, and my team will sort of go over that with you as well. And all of that's included in the contract. And we as the agency will manage and coordinate those expense reimbursements going to you in real time to ensure that you have the money that you need back in your pocket as quickly as possible. Throughout the entire pregnancy, you will have a coordinator, you will have a finance team member that will help you with the reimbursements, make sure you understand, and you will hopefully be communicating with the intended parents lots. Email, phone call, texts, visits if they live close by. Our goal is that when you complete this journey, it will be as though you've completed it for family. You may start out as strangers, but this journey, as I've always put it, is the most intimate experience you will have with a stranger. And when I say intimate, it means just a deep relationship, a deep knowing, a deep caring, trusting for and of these people. The IVF process can be a little tricky. It doesn't always work. There's medications involved, often injections that you will have to administer. It's a lot. And it's worth it, knowing that you are making a choice about your body, that you are doing something with your body that you want to do. And I know that for so many of us, that's interesting. It's tricky. And I'm always curious about that for people. I'm always curious about how pregnancy has occurred for you in the past. Did you go through IVF? You can still be a surrogate. Have you had 4 kids and your tubes are tied? You can be a surrogate. Have you always felt in control of your body? Whether that is a yes or no, you can be a surrogate, and we want you to be a surrogate. We want to encourage you to use this time and this opportunity to lean into the opportunity to be in control of your body, to make decisions around your pregnancy health, along with your intended parents. If you're a home birther, if you have utilized the services of a midwife practitioner, we want to talk to you. We don't care if you give birth at home or at a hospital. We have intended parents who want to show up for you in that way, in that setting for your birth. It is so important and so beautiful that your birth experience is honored. And in fact, when we talk to surrogates, 1 of 10 surrogates have told us they became a surrogate to heal birth trauma, to heal the pieces of their experiences in birth that did not serve them. They are here to let go of the pain and the trauma of a birth prior to some education that they've had around an empowered birth. And we welcome that. We are so excited and care so deeply about those preferences, whether it's preferences around your birth, whether it's preferences around what expenses are included in your contract, whether it is the preferences of the intended parents you select. Our goal as an agency is to show up for you, is to hold space for you, is to encourage and support you as you decide how you will manage your relationship with your intended parents, how you will maintain that relationship, and how you will seal that journey once it is over. And for us, the journey isn't over until you tell us it is. We want to make sure we are connected with you, whether it's 6 weeks post-birth, 6 months post-birth, or whether you are going to hang around on our surrogate community, in our surrogate community ongoing. We have examples of that all around. We have a retreat coming up here in Victoria on the 25th, and many of the surrogates attending have not been surrogates for 5, 6, even 8 years. They are always welcome. We have a place at the table for you. We've set a place at the table for you. Because for us, without your participation, these journeys can't occur. And if these journeys don't occur, we don't have these stories to share. We don't have the ability to tell your story and use your story as a guide for others who are just entering this program. The mentorship we see with surrogates is beautiful and amazing. And look, if you've done pregnancy before, you know what that is. And this is so much more. It is a pregnancy by choice, which not all of us have had. We've had some oopses and some other situations that have occurred, which we landed ourselves pregnant, and our kids are great. So we say thank you, and that's that. And a pregnancy with purpose, and a pregnancy for people who, or a person who will honor you as you are caring for their baby, is breathtaking. It is so amazing to watch that moment when dad crumples on the floor with his new son, where you are watching a woman go from maiden to mother because of the gift you've given. And she's just in there with her baby, and she's, skin to skin, holding that child like it is a Academy Award. I don't even know. But after all the years of trying, you have gifted that. And you've gifted yourself with being able to watch that happen. And it truly is amazing. And if you're interested in surrogacy, reach out. We'd love to connect with you. We'd love to go over the nuts and bolts, fill out the application, get it to the clinic, find you intended parents, find you a lawyer, put all that stuff together, go over the expense reimbursement part with you, making sure you understand the money, because the money is important. No one signs up for surrogacy because of money or compensation. And we want to make sure you fully understand the reimbursement process so that as you move forward, you know that everything is taken care of. Does anyone have any questions? Great question. The age criteria to be a surrogate is 21, and most clinics have a cutoff around 45, 46. And you can have your tubes tied. You can have an IUD. They'll remove it at the screening. And those are the two questions I have. Do my intended parents have to be in the room when I deliver? Absolutely not. The way that your birth will happen is the way that you have expressed that your birth will happen. And so if you want to have intended parents in the room, if you do not want to have intended parents in the room, we will ensure that any intended parents we match you with understand your preference. And if that preference changes during the pregnancy, you or us, we together will update them on what that is. I've only had C-sections. Can I be a surrogate? Absolutely. So generally the rule of thumb is 2 or 3 C-sections. We have had surrogates join our program after 4 C-sections, and that is sort of clinic specific. And we would, get you to the clinic to have them do an ultrasound to make sure that your scar is good and that you're able to go ahead with another pregnancy. The follow-up question to that was, will it have to be a VBAC? No, it really is whatever the doctor or midwife practitioner suggests. along with consultation with you, of course, and then that information will be given to intended parents. I think that is it for questions. Thank you, everyone. I hope that that I've been able to capture your interest, and I hope that we have you in our program soon, or at least that you book a call to get some further information. So thank you so much for participating today and being on this webinar, and I look forward to sharing your journey with you should you decide to move forward.